I've heard some interviews that you did, and in the writers' room, it was pretty much everyone's experience growing up that you threw into.
Yeah,
this.
well, I wanted my family and everybody to be able to watch this and not be like mortified. I wanted them to see like elements of like, I remember that, like that. I'll put you through that fucking wall. Like my dad used to say that.
Yeah.
And he did one time say it. We were outside. And he was mad. And I'll put you through that fucking wall. And we were like pointing at the woods. So we're sitting there like snickering, like wanting to be like, yeah, Dad, there is no wall. We're outside. We're outside. But like,
you don't want to say that.
No, not at all.
You need some more lines, Dad, because we're not inside right now.
Yeah, you need a new catchphrase.
Yeah,
Your catchphrase only works inside.
Yeah,
I know it sounds silly because it's a cartoon, but they really did capture the look of the '70s. Even like the woods, even like the woods where you go out there and there's old like washing machines and shit you would just find out there in the woods.
Yeah, and there was always the new housing developments
right.
that they were building, and like
go play around.
There was no internet. Yeah, there's no internet, so you'd steal lumber to build a tree fort.
Yes,
or you just throw rocks through the windows.
That's right. The tree forts that's in the scene.
You were one of the throw rocks through the windows? Because I've told that story too. I grew up with a kid. I used to say his name. Maybe I shouldn't anymore. And we would run through the developments. I thought, oh, wow, we get to go upstairs when the house isn't even built yet and go in the basements and stuff. And we're just having like, easy fun. And then this kid that we would run with for a little while, I finally had to tap out. He was the one taking the rocks going, fuck that. It was just taking out windows in these of these houses in these new developments. And I remember as a kid being scared shitless going,
do you remember,
this isn't fun anymore, man.
We used to go in there like, dude, we were like, I swear to God, I was like 6, 7 and hanging out with kids who were like 5.
Yeah.
Just be a cluster of kids. And you'd go into a house and they had just started to build the stairs. All they had was the framing of it, so they didn't have the piece of wood that went across. So we would be like going up on the skinny piece of wood.
All that, yeah.
And it was like, the one that led from the main floor to the second floor was right above the basement. So if you fell, you fell straight down all the way down to the dirt.
Yeah. Completely remember all this.
Yeah, and your parents used to just let you go outside. Like, go outside. And then you'd run into your friends, and then your group of kids would run into another group of kids.
Yeah.
And with your kid brains, you would decide what you were going to do that day.
Yeah.
And there could be anything from let's play baseball to let's throw rocks in somebody's pool.
But my thing was the excitement was trying to get upstairs when there's no staircases and go, wow, this is cool. And then,
we did that in abandoned buildings.
Would just pick up these boulders and throw them through bay windows. I'm like, can't we just do them? It's already fun.
Yeah, we didn't do that every time, but a couple times we did do stuff like that.
We played in abandoned buildings, not so many new developments.
See, I would have loved to done that. I love going.
One of my boys was in junior high school. It was right next to our school, and every time at lunchtime we used to go in there and play.
Yeah,
my boy Sam fell through the floor. It was like third floor, second floor, fell through that and landed in dog shit.
Come on,
and it was the greatest moment of my life.
It has to be
a pile of dog shit.
I remember saying to my childhood friend, I would just say to him, hey, you want to go play with matches? Like you would literally just, and you'd go, you'd like get some pine needles together and you just light them on fire, like right underneath the tree. I set the woods on fire one time, and thank God this guy was there. He was over there in 2 seconds because I was near his fucking house.
Yeah. Oh.
And he had a giant like trash can that he had filled up with water, and he just kept dumping it on there. Another one of my friends, he lit the woods on fire to the point the firehouse had to come down and put it out, and he was so nervous he went down to the firehouse and ratted out my brother.
Really?
Going like, I think I know who did it. They knew they were lying, but we knew it was him because his dad used to have, we used to call them monkey matches.
Right.
He had these books of matches. Remember back then, like monkeys doing human things was considered hilarious. So he had these books of matches, and it would be like, a picture of a monkey like with a cigar playing poker.
Right.
So his dad used to, I guess, found those funny. So we saw those, like the evidence there. So we knew it was him. And, that's just, there was no internet. There was no video games. So you lit shit on fire.
I have a similar story. Our story ended a little differently. It was me and my 2 brothers. We're all almost the same fucking age. And we did the same thing. You start with little pine needles, little dry leaves. And then you get bored. Like, I think we can handle a bigger fire. And then we got the army men and they're melting.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like it was yesterday, just a little wind. Over to this next pile of leaves. Fast forward, the whole fucking woods are on fire. The fire department shows up and has to put out the fucking fire behind our house. It was getting close to our neighbor's house.
What?
It was really bad. And as kids, we're thinking we can handle this, and we're like trying to stomp out the fire with our little fucking sneakers. And then they lined us up in the backyard. And I remember from school that oily rags could start fires. Yeah. So they're fucking questioning us now. Like, do you guys know anything about it? And stupid me, I'm thinking I'm gonna get us out of this. I'm like, I remember seeing some oily rags in the woods. Idiot. And then we grew up with it was a big house with woods behind us. It was our playground. And our punishment was we fucking were grounded for the whole summer and couldn't leave the fucking driveway. And as a 12-year-old, we were probably even younger than 12, that was fucking torture. And then our friends would come over and our cousins and stuff, and they'd be able to run in the woods because we had tree forts and all that shit up there. Right. And we had to fucking hang out on the driveway and watch everyone else
and your parents
in our
stuck
playground.
with the punishment, too.
Yes, they did back in the day. Now you feel guilty after 5 minutes. Like, all right, fuck.
Dude, we used to have a rule. We had a rule in our house when we were little. If you didn't finish your dinner, your supper, as we called it, if you didn't finish your supper, my parents would take like cellophane, wrap up your meal, stick it in the fridge, and you had to eat it for breakfast.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yes.
So it was so you learned to not waste, right?
Sure.
Are we long lost brothers?
I think I still...
These are all the same exact fucking story. That's
the
probably
worst thing was when I remember if you had like cube steaks, which were hard to chew as a 6-year-old when they were hot. It was such a piece of shit part of the cow.
It's a bad
eating that for fucking breakfast while everyone else is having waffles, and you got that in half-eaten green bean casserole.
God. But that was normal too.
That would be considered abuse. Dude, my mother one time was driving down the street. My two youngest brothers were acting up, and she goes, "I swear to God, if you two don't knock it off, I'm pulling over to the side of the road and I'm spanking your bare butts right on the side of the road." And they just kept going. They kept going. And my mother pulled over, spanked their bare ass on the side of the road. All I remember was people driving by, blowing the horns, laughing their ass off. Dude, nowadays they would
call a cop immediately.
You're arrested.
They'd film it and they'd take your kids away.
Yeah, exactly.